welcome to the ICT Pulse podcast. I'm Michelle Marius, your host and the editor and publisher of ICT Pulse, the online platform where we discuss ICT issues from a Caribbean perspective. Today we are delighted to be speaking with Aldwyn Wayne, the founder and chief executive officer of WiPay, the online payment platform that first launched in Trinidad and Tobago about 2 years ago and is beginning to roll out its operations across the Caribbean. For those who have been longtime followers of ICT Pulse, you may have realized that one of my pet peeves has been the e-commerce related challenges that most Caribbean businesses face. Securing an online merchant account can be expensive. The application process is time consuming. There are lots of requirements that must be satisfied. You basically need dedicated staff to interface with the bank and implement the required configuration. So for most micro, small businesses and even digital businesses as well, trying to establish an online merchant account at a local bank in the Caribbean is just not worth the time, money, and effort. WiPay is being touted as a solution to many of these problems. In our conversation with Aldwyn, we'll be getting some insight into WiPay and how it has been able to achieve what the formal banking system in the region has not been able to do, Aldwyn's entrepreneurial journey, and what's next for WiPay and Aldwyn in the not-too-distant future. Aldwyn, welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Aldwyn, talk to us about WiPay and what it does. How does it work?
No problem. So WiPay is an online gateway that gives its users access to credit card processing, most notably on the MasterCard and Visa card network. It's essentially a payment facilitator. We allow individuals, customers, businesses, small businesses to download a plugin onto their websites or to their mobile app and start receiving online payments. WiPay works with existing banking partners that allows for these transactions to take place, and the acquiring is done by WiPay itself.
Excellent. So what drove you to set up WiPay? Were you having a similar challenge as many of these businesses have been facing?
For sure. So I have a tech background, have a number of applications that we built, and the single most common challenge we found was we had no way to receive payments. So WiPay was created out of a need for removing some of the barriers to entry for entrepreneurs and small businesses to take their business online. Currently in the Caribbean, the only way that you could take or accept payments online is if you go to a bank and have a merchant account set up, and then have a software developer integrate their APIs onto their website. That barrier to entry was a lot, especially if you're a new upstart that won't have the necessary requirements to open a business bank account, audited financials for the last 12 months and so forth. It was challenging, to get your business online through that conventional banking method. So what WiPay did was take all those requirements, bundle it into an application that's free to download, and make it available to everyone.
Excellent. I can certainly see that. As for digital businesses as well, those that would not necessarily have, you're looking to provide a service over the internet, and therefore that is the way that you generate money. So you wouldn't even have financial statements because you need the online platform to generate income.
Exactly.
And to be able to have the business run. So you're sort of caught between a rock and a hard place if you actually cannot get a digital business online.
Exactly.
So since WiPay deals with money, security is important. How secure is WiPay? And, I'm sure customers would want to have some assurances that, the details of their transactions, etc., are safe and secure.
Oh, for sure. Security is number one priority at WiPay. Our platform, just so that it can be clear, runs on the existing rails of existing banking infrastructure. So every transaction is handled by a regulated financial institution that has existing security in place. So every WiPay transaction is just as if you had done the transaction through the bank. Our platform just removed the barriers to entry to get to that point. So from a security standpoint, we have the same bank level security that the banks would institute on a platform of their own.
Okay, but is WiPay itself considered a financial institution in the sense of, for many banks, one of the challenges, well, not, I don't know if it's a challenge, but, they have like anti-money laundering and know your customer requirements that they must satisfy.
So WiPay itself is not a financial institution. It's a payment gateway. However, since we do work with a financial institution, we have to adhere to the same AML, anti-money laundering requirements, and KYC onboarding requirements as a bank. So we do collect KYC and KYB information from our customers to meet the standards of our banking partners. But to that extent is where the similarities would stop. After that point, the entire process is handled by the platform. So WiPay, being a software company, provides access to the bank's financial legacy software. So we are not a financial institution, to answer your question.
Okay. Actually, I have a couple more along that line, two things. So I guess in terms of the actual cost to consumers or customers who actually use a platform, essentially, I guess there would be fees that would need to be paid to WiPay, and WiPay then pays to the bank. How does that work?
No, so our platform provides you with access to banking infrastructure. Our arrangements with the bank is all internal, so you have no separate fees that you pay to WiPay or to the bank. The transaction fee that comes with every transaction is the only fee that you would pay for a transaction. So let's say the credit card has a 3% transaction fee. That's the only fee that the customer would pay.
Okay. And you also mentioned about WiPay being a software company, which seems a little bit, not necessarily odd, but I was a little surprised by that relative to the fact that it is a payment gateway. Why do you make that distinction?
So every payment gateway is actually a software company.
Okay.
Visa and MasterCard is software companies. They actually don't hold money. The banks are the issuer. So the banks own the custodian of the monies, right?
Right.
So with Visa and MasterCard, you have access to their network, which connects a Visa issued card with a Visa issuing acquirer, right?
Right.
Visa card itself is not a financial institution.
Understood. I noted that WiPay was the selected bidder for a contract to develop a payment system for the Trinidad and Tobago judiciary, which I'm sure was a huge feather in the cap of WiPay. What did the judiciary need, and why do you think WiPay won the contract over larger and more established bidders?
That's a good question. To build off of the previous question of WiPay being a software company, that's exactly why we won. We provided a technology solution that met the needs of the judiciary instead of a financial provider giving them an established, financial solution that they may not need, but it's the only thing that a financial institution could offer. So, being a software developer, we could build custom software to fit the needs of the client. And that's exactly how we won. All that was being offered would have been existing banking solutions, which required, the judiciary's customers and clients to go into or to get into a bank or to use a bank. And, they, I guess didn't want to bottleneck, their clients into any one specific financial institution. With WePay's system, it was entirely open. So, you could use a top-up card method, which doesn't require you to open a bank account. You could pay in with your bank account, whichever one it may be. using the Visa, MasterCard network. So we provide that all-encompassing, inclusion that the judiciary was looking for in a solution, because it had to provide access not only to bank customers but unbanked. And that's what set us apart from other financial institutions during that process of that corporate project.
Okay. So has the project been rolled out as yet? How is it going?
Yeah, so the owner of the project would be the judiciary.
Mm-hmm.
We, being a software company, did the development of the platform. We also have management of the QR codes that's been generated, which we call the WiPay top-up process. And so far, from our side, it's a huge success. They have, a fantastic pickup rate. I can't, divulge anything beyond what I can see in terms of transactions. But they turn over, a lot of QR codes. So it represents, a prospering business for them. What I can make note of was the fact in the Senate, the AG, publicly, commended WePay and CorePay for having that system in place that during the earthquake provided the only method of collection and payments in any one of the courts. So, that's, really, really good. It was a really good endorsement from the AG in December, couple 6-7 months after putting a system in place for the first time. To hear, we were the only system to work during a national emergency during that earthquake in Trinidad.
Okay.
So from that point of view, I think we have had some success with that project.
Okay. Great. And in addition to Trinidad and Tobago, I gather WePay has a presence in Jamaica and St. Lucia. In what other Caribbean countries do you intend to roll out WePay?
All right. So our service currently is active in Guyana, St. Lucia. We should be up in Jamaica within the next month or so. We intend to have it in every island. The purpose of our platform is for inclusion, and we choose to roll it out, and we would like to have it in every island so that we could include everyone. So by mid-year, we anticipate that we should be in every English-speaking Caribbean island by mid-year this year.
Oh, wonderful. But let me ask, if people really can't wait and they do not live in one of the countries in which WePay has a presence, can they still use the platform, or does WePay need to establish relationship with the banks in each of the countries?
Yeah, so paying in with any one of the existing electronic payment methods, Visa card, Mastercard, Amex card, you could use that without being part of one of the existing islands that we're in. However, to set your bank account up and receive payments, we need to have established relationships with a financial institution in your country. So only when we do have that relationship would you be able to accept payments in that country. So until we do, receiving payments would not be available until we have established a financial banking partner and do an official launch in that country.
Understood. And you were mentioning about, well, credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Amex. So if I were a business that had a WePay account, and I could attach it to my business, would I be able to receive payments via credit cards issued outside of the region? So basically to offer my services globally or offer my products globally?
Yes, that's precisely what WePay was created for, to give you that global reach. So the MasterCard Visa card network is worldwide, as you know. So the whole purpose of WePay was to extend access to that network to people of this region. So with WePay, you do and can access payments from anywhere in the world on those rails of MasterCard and Visa card.
Excellent. All right, that seems quite exciting. As you know, I'm based in Jamaica, so I'm looking forward to the launch of WiPay, and let me see what it can do. So let's step back a bit. Was WiPay, and I gather from what you said a bit earlier, but I'll still ask the question: was WiPay your first serious foray into entrepreneurship? Tell us a bit of your story. How has Aldwyn evolved and gotten to this point?
I came from an entrepreneurial family, so entrepreneurship is all I know. My family owned some small businesses in the electronic retail market. We also into construction. And when I returned from college, I decided that, I'll open my own business and I'll start in the field of technology. My first company was a small cable company with about 1,000 customers for an area in Trinidad that was remote, and none of the major companies had any infrastructure in that area. So the people was isolated from internet and cable TV. So what I did was founded a company that was a local point of presence only within that area cable company. Also, an internet provider using existing service providers in the area with a wireless backbone into that town. So I started providing internet and cable TV access to that town in Trinidad as my first company. It's still around today, Just Cable.
Okay.
My second company after that was camera installation company, a tech company based on power line communications, which is communication over power line. So that cable that runs to your building that gives you electricity, that company that I created sent internet signal over it.
Nice.
So there was no need to, run new wires. If you had an old building, you could send that internet signal to the power lines. So that was my second company, Power Line Communication.
Okay.
Of Trinidad and Tobago. And we had some installations with Petrotrin for offshore cameras. We had installations with the city of San Fernando for cameras throughout the city of San Fernando on the highways of Trinidad and Tobago. So that was actually my first big company that had national appeal because of the fact that we provided a solution that was unique, but at the same time very easy to install because of the ubiquitous nature of power lines, because they're everywhere. So I could install a camera or a network apparatus, in a matter of minutes without running any new wires because I run on the existing power line.
Mm-hmm.
And last, before we picked
Is
up
that
with the
still?
software company. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was asking whether or not that company still exists.
Yes, it does.
Oh, wonderful.
It does. So after Powerline, I founded Coldwater, which is a software development company, and that's the company I started doing application developments and found the need for adding payments to these applications. And then WiPay was founded to add payments to these applications.
Okay. Yeah, because I can also appreciate that even for all of the businesses that you have created, especially the cable company that is located in a remote area, you may find that it doesn't have like access to banks and so on. So even just ways to receive payment, it can just be a challenge. So certainly, starting a software development company to eventually create WePay, I mean, it all works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It all came, it's a common culmination from every business that I created. The common thread, the common thing that I needed in each one that was missing was payments. So I could take a piece from each business that I had and build something that was needed, and it would be payment. So that's how WePay came into existence.
So, I mean, having managed these businesses and I guess, or founded these businesses, and I'm sure managed them for a while, how would you describe yourself as a manager or leading an organization? What do you consider your greatest strengths?
What is my greatest strength? So that's the first thing. I don't think I have a lead organization, although it may appear to be that way. I would say I surround myself with smart people so we can make smart decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a cooperative effort rather than a leader from in front type effort. So although I may have created these companies, I always have a good management team that I would position to provide, advice to me so that the decisions that I make would always carry, the best value for the organization. So I guess the ability to, work with a team, is probably my greatest attribute.
And how would you describe yourself in terms of what might be your weakness? What is the thing that you know that you need to work on?
Um, it's not just one. There's a bunch of things that I think I should need to work on, but the thing that I'm probably putting the most conscious effort into would be accepting, things that that may not be perfect. It might be able to work as is. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I take issue with tasks that's not being approached in a way that could bring the most value out of the efforts that you put into it. And maybe I can lighten up a little bit on how these approaches that different people may take can bring me to the same endpoint. So what I'm trying to work on right now is probably being more accepting of the approaches that different people may have in dealing with issues and tasks that's put in front of them.
Okay. And what has been the biggest lesson you've had to learn in running your own businesses?
Patience. Patience. I think anyone who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur or aspiring to run their own business needs to understand that it would come with hard work, and give some patience to what you're doing. You may not achieve the outcome within the first month, 2 months, a year, 2 years sometimes of what the dream was. But with patience and persistence, you can definitely have something that you could be proud of. So I would always say, to any entrepreneur, anyone that's looking to start a business, patience.
Okay.
Understand that failure is part of growth. Learn from it, build from it, and be patient.
Okay. And I guess in a similar vein, what is the best piece of advice you have received with respect to whether it's WePay or any of the businesses that you have founded over the years?
Pay your taxes.
Oh
Pay your
gosh.
taxes. No, but on any business, the things that slip through the cracks would be a lot of those government or banking fees or regulations that you need to adhere to, or understanding the governance that your business falls within, and whatever certification or approvals you need to get, or just understand all the red tape, which is not the most sexy part of the business. But once you check those boxes, I mean, you could be assured of continuing operations.
That is so
But the
true.
second that let these things go through the cracks, it comes back to haunt you when you think you have everything sorted out. You didn't file for something that you need to file for, or didn't apply, didn't get certified, or didn't do NIS. Just make sure those things that it may not seem to be important at the point in time because it's just paperwork. Make sure that you take care of those things. Get your business registered properly. Get your banking situation sorted out properly, make sure you dot those I's and cross those T's for the low hanging fruits when it comes to business administration, and then everything from that, your passion can take care of the rest of the stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think especially for micro and small businesses, it's easy to not be aware of some of those administrative requirements that need to be satisfied. And as you say, they can trip you up when you least expect it. And my final question. So although WiPay might be requiring and demanding a lot of your attention currently, what is next for Aldwyn Wayne?
WiPay. WiPay is next for me. WiPay is next for Aldwyn Wayne. WiPay is 100% of my effort, 100% of my time, because this platform it needs to be the gateway to the Caribbean for payments. And for us to be the gateway to the Caribbean, we need to have every Caribbean island. So over the next 6 to 12 months, my focus would be on creating a Caribbean platform that the rest of the world could gain access to, and we could provide service to the rest of the world from.
That is a very ambitious goal. And I guess you do have an aggressive timeline. So I do wish you all the luck with that. And congratulations on the success that you have had to date with WiPay. I've been hearing good things. As I said, I'm looking forward to when it launches in Jamaica for me to kick the tires myself. So thanks once again for joining us. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the day and with your imminent launch in Jamaica.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And good luck with your podcast.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the ICT Pulse podcast. You can find links to some of the things we talked about on our website, ict-pulse.com. If you like this episode, please show your support by leaving us a review on iTunes, as it will help others find the show. You can email us at info@ict-pulse.com or drop us a note on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ICTPulse, or via Twitter @ICTPulse. We hope you'll join us again for our next episode. Take care.